becomes a family home. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, you that lives there, but I mean, they'll go over that in your class, but like a familial home, I would say. So you
Needs to be
definitely,
related, like it needs to be related to the like parents, kids, or
yeah, yeah. So I think as long as you kind of just keep it, in the family, you don't list it for sale, you don't put it for rent, they shouldn't really, have an issue with that. So basically what it is it goes as a second mortgage. You don't make payments on it. So what it then that lowers the amount that you are financing on your mortgage, which, as Giselle mentioned, does two things. It lowers your payment and also eliminates the need for you to have a lot of money available to
uh,
purchase your home. So the um the money can be used for down payment, it can be used for closing costs, it can be used to do some rate buy down. They do limit how much we can buy your rate down, but we already have really good rates. So it should be like I just closed one last week where the buyer was a conventional loan, which is so you can use it on conventional, you can use it on FHA. Those are two basic types of loan programs that are available. Which one you use kind of depends on your credit profile and maybe some of your longer term goals. But that buyer wound up bringing, I think it was about $800 to closing, because you do have to make a minimum investment of either 1,200 or 2,000 depending on your income level. So that buyer went up bringing about $800 to closing, and we were able to get them a rate in the mid fives, and they were able to use the assistance for 20% down. So it was a really great deal for them. They were able to get a really affordable payment.
so Heidi, I'm gonna
um,
interrupt you. Like, can you give us
mhm,
the clear example? So he gave
sure.
$800 down payment, and you got a
Mhm.
five something interest rate.
Yeah, it was
And
like a
can
five
you
eight seven five.
do you remember the
Yeah.
price of the house and the price of the monthly payment this guy paid?
Yeah. So this house was 240 and he wound up paying his total payment was 14, I think 1490 a month. So very reasonable. And that included his taxes and his insurance and everything. So, so the program, this program is very unique because a lot of down payment assistance programs, you either have to make payments on them monthly or they
Second
don't
loan.
forgive at all. Yeah. So this is a second loan, but you don't make payments on it. It just sits there. So if you get $50,000 worth of assistance, then in, 10 years, it's still going to be 50,000. In 20 years, it's still going to be 50,000, so it doesn't accrue any interest or anything like that. So it's very good in that regard. And if you decide to sell the home or, move out of the home prior or even refinance it, if you wanted to pay that mortgage off, you can. But if you're planning on staying on long term, I would just honestly, keep the mortgage there. But if you did sell it, you would have to pay them back that money, and that would be the $50,000. So, it allows, even if you're not going to live there forever, it does allow you to, build up some equity in that home and minimize your out of pocket. Plus, you're not paying interest on that money that you borrowed. So it's keeping your payment lower, allowing you to save some money, while you're living in the house. So again, I really like the Pasco County program. I think it's an amazing program. So the basic criteria is that you obviously buy a home in Pasco County. So this is only good for Pasco County. We do have programs that are good everywhere. So if you're not interested in Pasco County, we do have some other ones. But this specific call, I think, is just to talk about Pasco County, right? Is everybody on the call mostly Pasco County? Yes. No.
You're not Pasco County. If you can unmute yourself, we have a small group now until we have like, and you please enjoy us and interact, like making sure that we have like questions. But Heidi, what I want to point at as well is like people need to be smart regarding like we can have this program and sometimes I like, but
Mhm.
I'm not gonna be 30 years on the house and whatever. But you need to make sure if you do a smart buying like in a place that you have nice equity, when you're gonna sell this house, for example,
Mhm.
you're gonna pay back without interest and maybe you are able already to make money because like you already have a house that appreciate had a equity
Yes.
enough for them 50,000 that you got for free, right? Because
Yes.
you're not
Hmm.
paying interest rate that help you to buy. It is okay to get that money back because you already earn equity on that house. So that's what I try to explain
Yes.
to people. But
Hmm.
like you have in another counties as well, right?
Yeah, so if you're not Hillsborough, if you're not Pasco County, we do have this program available. We have programs available really in all the counties, Pinellas, Hillsborough. They have different, assistance amounts and slightly different requirements, but I would say all of the county programs pretty much and city programs have what we call household income limits, meaning they're going to cap how much can be made in the entire household. So they do ask for tax returns. They are going to look for additional income. They're a little strict with that. Um, and they also all require you do a class before you go under contract, any county program you do. So if you want to use this program, it's really important you sign up for the class in advance, no matter what county you're buying in. And that way you can get your counseling and your certificate done before you start shopping for your home.
This class, let's explain that is a very simple class. You don't need to go anywhere. It's online class. Is that right?
Yes, yes, it is. It's an online class. Yes. Mhm.
And like
It's online.
it's
So
just
you
one
just do,
day,
oh,
like
sorry,
depend on the
I
account,
dropped my
right?
phone.
But it's one day or two.
It's two sessions, 4 hours each. So like they have some that are on Saturdays. Depending, the county usually does 1 to 2 a month. And most of the time they do alternate. So like on Saturdays and then maybe 2 nights during the week. So like I think the next one coming up, for example, in Pasco County is in August and it's a Wednesday and a Tuesday and a Thursday. So you just log into your Zoom. It's in the evening. They're going to go over some things, and it's all from your house on Zoom. Mm-hmm.
And like let's talk about one thing that it gets people the most in score, credit score. What the minimum of credit score for a program like this? Do they have or is just go by FHA?
Yeah. So Pasco County's minimum score is, sorry, somebody was calling me, is 600. And then I believe Hillsborough County is 620. And then Pinellas County is also 600. So, if and that's your middle qualifying mortgage score. So we pull three scores and it's the middle. So if you have two applicants and one of them has a middle score of 700 and one has a middle score of 620, the score for the purpose of the mortgage and program eligibility is 620
Okay, another
in that
question
scenario.
too.
So we always use the lower of the two scores. Uh-huh.
And what I wanted to explain to them, we have credit repairs. If people says, "Oh, my credit is like 580, I cannot do this program." So you guys need to understand that we
Mhm.
work together to put you there. So sometimes it's gonna take you a little
Mhm.
longer, but we can do this as
Yes.
as a lender, we and a realtor, we put you guys together with a credit repair that we are doing this
Mhm.
with one of our clients right now as we speak. So we just put in a path that we can fix the credit because sometimes it's like 20 points and or 40 points.
Yeah.
They can easily see what's the damage is there and to put you in the right track.
Mhm.
And for us to qualify you for this program. So if you see that you have
Mhm.
like a score that it doesn't help you today, it's not a problem. Don't give up
Mhm.
because we can put you there, right?
Yeah. So the credit repair process can sometimes be very quick. It can sometimes be longer, but regardless of what the issue is or what your school will always try to work with you to get the score to where it needs to be. So some people are ready if they have a credit concern in a a month, and other people it takes 6 months. But the most important thing is that we understand your goals and we help you create a path, to kind of get there. That's always what we want. So not everybody's ready for homeownership day one, but we will definitely tell you how to get there.
I have a couple questions here for us, Heidi. Like I have someone asking, can I use to buy down
Sure.
points? Yes, we already
Mhm.
answered that question, right?
Yes.
So can
Yes.
I
So you
pay
can
off
use it for
earlier?
points, but they do. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yes, you could pay it off earlier, but again, if you're gonna, I would pay off the first mortgage before you start paying off that second mortgage, because the first mortgage is going to be a fully amortizing interest-bearing mortgage. So if you're going to make extra payments, you would want to make it on that first mortgage, and then if you're if you're planning on living there, I wouldn't pay off the second mortgage because it will go away after those 30 years. But if you're trying to prioritize where to send extra money, I would always send it to that first mortgage, because that is something that you're actually paying interest on.
Yeah, because like
Because
taking in
remember, the
consideration
second mortgage is completely interest free.
free.
Yeah.
So remember again, no interest rate on the second mortgage. So why you pay earlier the second mortgage instead of paying the first one. So okay. And the other question is
Yeah.
about Orlando. What did we have in Orlando? Are you familiar with Orlando market?
Oh, in Orange County? Yes, there is a down payment assistance program there. I did not pull the details of it for this call, so I will. There's so many of them that I don't know them all off the top of my head, but I will look at that, and I will send you the details on that. If you just put your email address, I'll shoot you an email with what they have available in Orange County. Okay. And Orange County also has a lot of what is DPA? I mean, not DPA, USDA. USDA is another program that's available in a lot of those areas out there in the middle of the state. And that's a 100% financing program. They're a little more lenient with documentation and certain things, like you don't have to take a class. So depending on where you're looking, if for some reason that down payment assistance program isn't a good option for you or you don't qualify, we do have some other 100% options that might be available. And again, like if a county program doesn't work for you, we have lots of other assistance options that you can use. So if the biggest thing holding you back from homeownership is money, um, generally speaking, we can find a solution for that. Mhm.
Perfect.
Yeah,
What
we
else?
have quite a few programs.
And they do, but I, to be
Yeah.
honest, I think I have been working with this for the past year, and I haven't seen a better program than Pasco until now. But like again, we do have, I think, Everett County majority, right? Like Hernando, Hillsborough, we still have some.
Yes. So most of the counties have programs. Not all of them are the same level of assistance. So like for example, Pasco County has one that was like a special one related to the storm that was $80,000. I mean, that was crazy. Then they have like Hillsborough County recently updated theirs to 10,000. It used to be more. But the city of Tampa has one that's 30,000, so every city and county sort of has these, little programs they do, and they all have similar qualifications, but there are little nuances to each one of them. So that's why I don't want to speak and just be like, oh yes, it's exactly the same. But they're usually pretty similar. Like they almost all do household income limits, meaning again, they're going to be looking at the income of all members of your household, not just the applicants. So like some people will buy a house with just themselves on the mortgage, even though they're married, because the spouse has credit concerns or other debts. They're not necessarily going to we're not going to look at your spouse's credit or their debts, but we would have to account for the fact that they earn income if they're working. And that affects whether you can get the assistance and also the amount of the assistance you would qualify for. If you have children, you get a little bit more. So it's the number. So they have a chart, and it's the number of people in the household, and then it'll tell you what the maximum income is based on how many people are in your household.
We have a very good question here. To be honest, I don't even know the answer. But if someone passed away
Mhm.
while like owning this, is
Mhm.
what is the answer for that? I
Like
just don't.
like the second mortgage, you mean?
Yes, if they pass away during.
Yeah, so the second mortgage would not, I know it wouldn't be forgiven. I mean, I would assume, and I'll again double check this in their details. I don't think that's actually even in the guidelines. But my assumption would be that as long as somebody continues to pay the first mortgage and a family member were to occupy that property, that would be eligible for the forgiveness at the end. So basically, when somebody passes away, the property itself is passed along to the heirs in accordance with either a will, a trust, or just general, order, pecking order, I guess you could say. So, it goes like spouses first and then biological children. And then if you don't have biological children, then it could be, um, nieces and nephews. There's like a order that
A
they do the
lineage of
probate in.
heritage.
So,
That
mhm.
would be more a
Yeah, like
family
it's
law.
like a probate thing. Yeah. So there's a probate law that dictates that. So, but generally speaking, if somebody passes away and they have a mortgage, the mortgage does not become due, the mortgage does not become forgiven. But if the person who is responsible now for that estate doesn't make the payments on that first mortgage, then obviously it would go into default. So I know that they won't forgive it, but immediately or anything. But I'm pretty sure that they would say as long as a immediate heir occupied the property, that forgiveness would pass on to them. But I will double check with the
But if you
county.
guys want
I
to,
honestly don't know.
yes,
Mhm.
send to me an email. I promise that we can follow up on that question because it's a good one.
Yeah,
And I will make sure that we can
it
answer
is.
you because
Yeah.
now I wanted to know too. So,
Yeah, it's a good question. I just honestly, I know how the regular mortgages work, but the county assistance, I have not had that question before, and I have not, from what I recall, they did not specify that in any of the lending guidelines or anything. So I will ask though. Yeah.
Katie, I have know someone saying, Madam,
Mhm.
I sign up for the classes and I provide all the documents, and they told me that the fund is stopped in June.
Okay, which county was that?
Yeah, that was not clear what county is there. If someone can answer me
Mhm.
here, like the Zoom user, I just don't know
Yeah.
the name there.
Yes. So sometimes, yeah. So sometimes the county funds are limited, or sometimes they can stop a program. So you got to remember this is provided typically in the county budget. So the county does a budget at the council, or the city commissioners, depending on where you're at, the county council, the city commissioners get together and they vote on the budget. So there is a possibility, for example, that they would not they could stop a program that you wanted to do. In that case, we have a couple options. We could do the program the following beginning of the year. If it was a question of running out of funds, then usually if you just buy at the beginning of the year, there's funds. Or we would have to just explore an alternate assistance program. And again, we have many of them that are not subject to county funding or where you live or household income limits. So we would just try to explore another assistance program that might work for you in that case. Mhm. But
Perfect.
yes, I can see it is frustrating. And that is one thing about assistance through like these county programs is it is subject to funds availability.
I
And there
had
are
one
times
one
where
that I
the
we were
funding
doing.
runs
Yeah,
out.
I had one they were doing Hillsborough County, and they froze for 2 months because of
Mhm.
they were relocating the funds to something else,
Yes.
but they came back.
Mhm.
It's something that
Yes.
sometimes they come back like, and we are fully working Pasco, I can guarantee you, because we have this communication with the clients right now that we are processing, including the classes.
Mhm. So, like Pasco County right now, I mean, some of the counties have like a tracker on their website that shows you like how much how much of the funds are used. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we can see it on our side. So like I know Pasco County was 65%, used up. So they still have 35% of their funds that they were allocated at the beginning of the year. Other counties can run through them faster. They can also do things like, let's say they started off saying, okay, if you make between this and that, you could use the program. They can come out and say, and generally the income is based on like I said, what's called area median income. It's called AMI. So they'll say, oh, we'll give you this assistance if you're under 80 AMI. Well, they can come back and then say, well, actually, we're only going to do it for people who are at 50 AMI. So, that is a possibility too. So the county programs are great. Again, and the city program's amazing. They have great assistance. The terms are great, but they are very I don't call them volatile, but they are subject to funding availability. They are subject to making sure that, they don't modify any of the criteria for people to be eligible. And they are very, very particular about making sure that all of the income that is coming in your household is reflected and accounted for. They really don't want you to be over that income limit, basically.
That's what I tell
So
my immigration clients. Talking about immigration, they can change because when it's like it's a law is one thing. It's very hard to change a law because you have a lot of process. It's still changeable, but we have a lot of process
yes,
to do. But when you do
yes.
regulamentation,
Mm-hmm.
they can change tomorrow. It's
Mm-hmm.
the same thing with these programs, guys. Like we are
Yes.
dealing with funds that they can relocate it tomorrow. So we just need to run against the time and what we have limit at that day, right?
Yeah. So I would say a general good rule is like, sort of like, if it's a program you're really interested in, and then do the class. We'll definitely, get your reservation in there as quickly as possible. And then once they really won't hold the funds for you until you've selected your home. So if it's something you absolutely want to use, we just have to make sure that um, snag that reservation probably earlier in the year if it's super important to you. And again, if it's a question of like, hey, I found this dream house I love, the county's out of money, then we can always usually 99% of the time find you something that is a very good option as well.
And this person that comment that didn't have the funds, she said that it completely the Suncoast Housing Connections back in March. It's Suncoast Housing
Mhm.
Connections. Are you aware of that one?
Is that a counseling agency or is that a program?
A program called Suncoast Housing Connections.
Mm,
She did it
um,
back in March and received the certificate in Pasco.
I'm not familiar.
Me
Let me
neither.
see.
But
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
we can review with you.
Suncoast Housing Connections is, I believe that's the counseling agency. So if you have a certificate saying you're eligible for the program and you completed the counseling, you won't have to do it again. Those certificates are usually valid for 6 months,
6 months.
but you would have to try to, if you complete it in March, then you probably have to find your house, in the next couple months. I don't know if they'll extend it. Like you would have to reach out to the county or to the Suncoast to see if they could extend your eligibility based on the first class. Did they tell you it was only 6 months? I feel like that's what it is.
Usually the pass grade is 6 months usually. Otherwise you need to do the class again. That's what I had in the past, right? But
Yeah, that's what
again,
I feel
send to
like. Yeah,
us an
that's what I think
email
is
that
new.
we can check for you as well. We can, if you are eligible to do the you know, to the for
Yeah,
sure
like
you
if
are
you
more
have
than
any
welcome.
specific questions, yeah, I mean, I know the director of the program very well. So if there's any specific questions about, Pasco County that I don't know off the top of my head, and I can't really go into their website and look up the guidelines because I'm on the call. But if you have a specific question, just send it over to us and I'll make sure to check on it after the call and reply to you.
Okay, any
Okay.
more question, guys? Because I think you covered a lot of things. So that's very, very nice. And I will make sure that I send a lot of, like, if you guys want to type your email here for me, I will make sure that I have like the certificate expiring 24 months, she said. So
Oh,
it's very
good.
good.
Okay.
That's very good. So
Okay,
means that you don't need
perfect.
to class again, you are ready because we have the funds if you can qualify you for PASCO.
Was that for Pasco County?
She said for PASCO. Yep.
Oh,
To
okay.
receive the
Yeah, good.
certificate in
Okay.
PASCO.
Okay. I thought it was 6 months, but 24 is great.
Me too.
So
Actually, it is
Pasco
good.
County, Pasco County has still, like I said, I think last time I checked it was they used through 65% of their funds. So you should be good in
Good.
Pasco County if you want to buy sometime this year. And then, just keep in mind nothing, if that's a program you want to use and you wait till next year, as long as they fund it again. I mean, that program is pretty consistent. It's been around a while. So I would expect it would still be there, but they could adjust the award amount or the criteria for the award amount. So just like anything else in life, if it's something you want is there, then, grab it. YOLO, as the kids say. Because
Heidi,
yeah.
thank you so much. I think it will help me.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make
Okay.
sure that I can send more information as well. Like, for this program itself is spreading. This is gonna be recorded. I'm gonna put this in a YouTube. That way people can get more informed. But please, guys, if you know someone that like doesn't have the down payment or could be qualifying for this program, send to our we can find, especially you, like we can help you to find that you are qualified if you have the funds, especially if you already have done the class like you did. That is, I think, the most thing that is holds you, because right now I have a client that he's ready to close the house, but we need to go to the process of the class. That's why we're gonna be waiting for 2 weeks for him to attend the class, because the class is not very often that they give to, right, Haiti?
Yeah, once or twice a month, and you do have to have your certificate before you write a contract on a home.
So,
Yes, those are
oh,
the most important things to remember about the county programs. They are very particular about that. So,
that's nice.
mhm.
So a lot of good questions. I'm very pleased about it. So anything
Okay.
else you think we should tell them?
Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else about that program that. No, I mean, I think the main point
The
is
limit
just,
is very
let.
nice. Like you sent to me the limit, and I'm
Yes.
gonna be putting on the video, okay, for this when we're gonna
Okay.
edit. That I'm gonna
Mhm.
put in the video because like the limit is like for two people at household, for example, is over 100,000. It is
Yeah.
it's a good amount of income.
Hmm. Yeah. So it is a good program. I'll send you the 80, the 50, and the 100 charts. And like I said, sometimes the counties will be like, oh, we're limiting it to 80 or we're limiting it to, but some of them do the 80, do the 100 AMI as well, or 120 AMI, depending on
Yeah,
the
and I
county.
have I have a house that I
Hmm.
want to work with you that I can put an example is a model home that
Oh,
has
yeah.
all the furniture
Hmm.
included, and I'm gonna use that as example to give to you guys. If we can get up to $60,000, that house including HOA, maintenance, like insurance and taxes and furniture and like the water that is included and also the trash, that the monthly payment, you'll be surprised because probably will be way less than what you were paying as a rental.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll work up those numbers and send
No
them over
problem.
so that
I
you
will
can
I'll be
include that
waiting for
too.
you to work for me.
Okay. All right. Okay. If anybody thinks of anything else, just send Giselle an email,
Yes,
or you
I have
can
my
put my
email right
email in
here.
the chat. Yeah, and send it out to everybody who registered. And if people didn't get to attend that registered, we can send them maybe a summary
I will send a summary
of
of
the
this
call.
meeting actually, for
Okay.
everybody who registered. We had like 26 people that registered.
Oh, nice. Okay. All
Okay.
right, you guys. Okay. Well, it was nice chatting with everybody. Thanks for the
Thank you.
questions. And if
Thank
you
you
need
so
anything, let
much,
me know.
guys.
Okay.
It
Thank
was very,
you.
very nice. Thank you so much for taking
Okay.
the time to be with me.
Okay, thanks, guys. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. So I appreciate your guys' time. Take the time for us to learn. And I will send you all the feedback of this meeting for us. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.